Look at this. It's signed, sealed, and legally binding. You have no claim here.
This is my home. I'm not leaving. You can take your papers and get out.
I never planned on getting into a fight with an HOA, especially not in the mountains. All I wanted was a quiet place to escape on weekends, maybe roast marshmallows by the fire, take photos of wildlife, and breathe fresh air far away from city noise. But what I walked into was a power struggle I couldn't have imagined. It all started the day I bought the old foreclosed cabin on Pinecrest Ridge. It wasn't much to look at: peeling paint, crooked porch, windows fogged over with years of neglect. But it had character. And for the price I got it for, a steal. I signed the paperwork, got the deed, and even received a warm chuckle from the county clerk, who told me, "You picked quite the spot. HOA up there is passionate." I should have asked what that meant. Instead, I smiled, thanked her, and headed for my new cabin, completely unaware that I was about to walk straight into a storm. It was around 4 p.m. when I pulled onto my new gravel driveway, the tires crunching like popcorn under the weight of my truck. I stepped out, stretched my back, and took in the pine-scented breeze. That's when I heard footsteps behind me. Sharp. Purposeful. Angry. "Excuse me," a woman barked. I turned and saw her, late 50s, tall, stiff posture, a blazer way too formal for the woods, and a clipboard tucked under her arm like it was a weapon. "I'm Linda," she said, chin up. "President of Pinecrest Ridge HOA. "Nice to meet you," I replied casually. "I'm Cole." Her eyes narrowed. "And what exactly do you think you're doing?" I blinked. "Standing in my driveway." "This is not your driveway," she snapped. "This cabin belongs to Pinecrest Ridge HOA. I actually laughed at first. I thought she had to be joking. "No, I bought it," I said calmly. "Here. I have the paperwork in my truck." She stepped forward, blocking me. "I don't need to see your paperwork. We've already decided this property is part of community holdings. You cannot take possession." I stared at her, stunned. I couldn't believe what she said next. The cabin was foreclosed and abandoned. The HOA claimed it months ago. "So unless you want to be charged with trespassing, I suggest you leave." Trespassing. On property I owned. That's when I knew I had to fight back. "Look," I said carefully, "I bought this legally. You can't just take it." Linda smiled, a cold, predatory smile. "Oh, you'd be surprised what we can take." She walked off, leaving me standing in my own yard feeling like someone had punched the wind out of me. 2 days later, I returned with tools to start cleaning up. And waiting for me, stuck to the front door with bright red tape, was a community violation notice. I peeled it off. Unauthorized occupation. Fines due, $1,500 per day. I almost choked. Linda appeared from behind a spruce tree like she materialized out of the shadows. "Those add up fast," she said sweetly. "That's cute," I replied. "But I'm not in your HOA." She lifted her chin. "You are now. When you bought that cabin, you became part of our community guidelines." "No," I said firmly. "This cabin isn't listed in your covenants." I checked. She smirked. "We updated the map." "When?" I asked. "Last month. Conveniently after the foreclosure. Conveniently after she decided she wanted the cabin." I pulled out my phone. "Linda, I'm recording this for my protection." "You can't record me," she snapped. "I just did." She stormed away again, furious, muttering something about calling legal. But I wasn't scared. I knew the law was on my side. Or at least, I hoped it was. The next day, I went to the county clerk's office to double-check the property history. The clerk, Maria, recognized me immediately. "Back already?" she asked warmly. Yeah, I sighed. I need to confirm something. I handed her the HOA violation notice. She frowned. They're doing this again, she muttered. Again? I echoed. Maria lowered her voice. They've tried to claim foreclosed properties before. Never successfully. She typed my parcel number into her computer. And then she froze. Oh, that's interesting. My heart dropped. What? The HOA filed paperwork yesterday, claiming your cabin as a community asset. What? They can't do that. She clicked the next document and gasped. And they submitted a new map. And a supplemental deed. Supplemental deed? I repeated. She turned the monitor toward me. On the screen was a scanned document titled Additional Community Property Agreement. And below it, a signature that looked vaguely like mine, but childishly wrong. They forged my name, I whispered. Maria nodded. Obvious forgery. Her jaw tightened. This is illegal. I'm notifying the county attorney. I breathed for what felt like the first time all day. I'll make copies of everything, she said. And don't worry. You're the rightful owner. Relief washed over me like a wave. But the fight was far from over. When I got back to the cabin, Linda wasn't alone. She had backup. 3 HOA board members stood beside her, arms crossed like a lineup of angry mall security guards. Linda smirked. We've decided to escort you off community property. This isn't community property, I said calmly. And you all know it. A man with a stiff mustache stepped forward. We have documents proving it is. Oh, you mean the forged ones? I asked. Their faces twitched. I just came from the county office, I continued. They already flagged your paperwork as fraudulent. Linda's face went pale. You're lying, she said weakly. I have the copies in my truck. She swallowed, trying to regain her composure. We'll see what the judge says. Yeah, I said. We will. As they left, one board member whispered to Linda. Told you this wouldn't work. Well, weeks later, we were standing in front of a judge in a small county courtroom. Linda arrived carrying a giant binder, her lips tight with determination. I arrived with Maria, the county clerk, and my attorney Rachel, who seemed far more excited about the case than I was. The judge looked tired, like he'd dealt with one too many HOA disputes in his life. Let's begin, he sighed. Linda immediately launched into a dramatic speech. Your Honor, this man is attempting to steal community land. Rachel cut her off. Your Honor, the HOA filed fraudulent documents, forged signatures, and illegally attempted to seize property from my client. The judge rubbed his temples. One at a time. The HOA presented their evidence. Rachel shredded every piece. The fake map. Outdated and unsigned. The supplemental deed. No notary stamp. Signature didn't match my real one. The community claim. Invalid without county approval. Then Maria stepped forward with the real documents. My deed. The foreclosure record. The property boundaries. Everything was airtight. Linda's face crumbled like wet paper. Finally, the judge leaned forward. Based on the evidence, this is not even a close decision. My heart pounded. Mr. Cole is the rightful and sole owner of the Pinecrest cabin, he said. The HOA had no legal authority to claim it. All fraudulent documents will be investigated. Linda let out a strangled sound. And the HOA, the judge continued sternly, is ordered to pay Mr. Cole's legal fees. I almost laughed. Linda almost fainted. Justice, served. 3 days later, I returned to the cabin, my cabin, ready to finally begin repairs. As I hammered the first nail into the porch railing, I heard footsteps again. I braced myself. But it wasn't Linda. It was one of the board members, the same mustached guy. He shuffled awkwardly. Just wanted to say, sorry about all that. I raised an eyebrow. You didn't seem sorry when you tried to kick me off my own land. He winced. Linda was persuasive. She convinced us the cabin would make a good HOA meeting lodge. So she wanted it for herself, I said. He nodded. Pretty much. Where is she now? I asked. He sighed. Resigned. And moved out of Pinecrest Ridge. The rest of us voted her out after the ruling. I exhaled. A calm breeze rustled through the pines. Well, I said, maybe things can get back to normal. He nodded again. We'd like that too. As he walked away, I felt something I hadn't expected. Peace. Real peace. Months passed. I rebuilt the porch. Fixed the roof. Repainted the siding. The cabin became everything I dreamed it could be. Word spread about the court case, and neighbors occasionally stopped by to apologize for Linda's behavior. One even brought me homemade pie. But the real victory was something deeper, something steady and quiet. Every time I unlocked the cabin door, I felt this warm sense of pride. I stood up for myself. I protected what belonged to me. And I didn't let intimidation win. One evening, as I sat on the porch watching the sun dip behind the ridge, I thought about everything that had happened. And I realized something important. Some battles aren't just about land. Or paperwork. Or boundaries. They're about refusing to be bullied. They're about knowing the truth and standing firm even when someone tries to rewrite it. If you don't defend what's yours, someone else will happily take it. Stay calm, stay patient, and trust the truth. Bullies only win when good people stay silent.